Welcome back to the Acoustic Shop channel, everybody. I'm here with Chris Meikle. We're going to be talking about Yairi guitars, the legendary Honduran Mahogany. There's going to be a few major changes. It's going to be very interesting. Stick around, we're going to find out what they are. Welcome back, everybody. We have moved the TAS studio to England. We are actually doing this. Yeah, isn't this awesome?
Yeah, we just moved the Alvarez sign.
Yeah, it's now
added TAS.
We call it the TAS TV instead of Alvarez TV now. It's not true. We actually forced Chris to come join us here in Springfield, Missouri, at the Acoustic Shop. We are so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Talking
very
about
much.
all the amazing things that you guys are doing over there at Alvarez and Yairi.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Great to be here.
Really.
Wonderful tacos. If you ever come to Springfield, our lunch was fantastic.
By the way, guys, we have a shop here. $1 tacos, 2 days a week. We can rock. We went through 60 tacos today. I believe Chris ate 15 of them.
Something like that. Until the hot sauce kicked in. That was something else.
It was something else, but we're glad to have you here. By the way, how many tacos do they have in England? Lots?
Yeah, we have all sorts of food now.
Yeah.
You know, the last few years we've
so
become
you're not just eating fish and chips.
Fish and chips are still a bit of a favorite, but you know.
Bangers and mash.
Bangers and mash, yeah, we still do that. Shepherd's pie, things like this. But we have lots of, I think our culinary level has increased maybe the last 10 years or something. Yes.
All right.
Lots of different.
What about your weather? Is it got any better?
Weather this year has been all right. Weather last year was terrible. Where I live, it's not warm hardly ever.
Really?
In the northeast, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this year has been okay.
So you're a jacket weather no matter what kind of guy.
This year we've had some t-shirt days.
Really?
Yeah,
good for you.
Not bad. Not like this.
This is warm.
You know, 38 degrees and it's like humid.
By the way, 38 degrees. He's talking Celsius. They don't know about
98,
what these Fahrenheit things
98
are.
degrees here.
It literally is like 94 today, I believe.
Oh, is it?
So yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
And about 70% humidity.
Welcome to the oven.
Yeah, welcome to the oven. No, we're going to be talking about these fantastic guitars. These are actually two of the most popular guitars in the Yairi system right now, right? The 66.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredibly. It's been back ordered for I don't know how long, and they're showing back up. for those of you who haven't been caught up on this story, we act like everybody knows the story. Obviously, not everybody. I didn't know it until we became dealers 2 years ago. But you guys went to the workshop, Mr. Yairi's workshop, and you found a stockpile of some wood. You didn't even know what it was, right? Was it you? Who all was involved in this initial finding of this wood?
I found it by asking a question.
What was the question?
Well,
what the heck is this?
I go there several times a year, and in the old days, Mr. Yairi, after lunch, he would take us to this bit of land that he owned every single time. And he'd drop us off in the van, and we'd just get out, we'd walk around this piece of land, and it was full of piles of wood with tarpaulins on. But it had all oxidized. All the wood's black, right?
Sure.
So even cheekily, we would say, even with the guys in the factory, let's go we used to call it the car park, back to the car park, because he used to love us going there for some reason. And in hindsight, I always think he's probably saying something like, these idiots will find out what's in here one day. Because we just used to kick around, because there's so much wood at the factory which is cut and clean. And then we were making a guitar for Jack Pearson, who's a lovely, wonderful player in Nashville. And he said he wanted Honduran mahogany. I said, get it. So I built Jack an OM, and I asked them to source some Honduran from a friend of mine because I was worried about CITES, and I knew this was. I go back, pick up Jack's guitar. I say, please send the CITES documentation. They said, we don't have it. I said, well, did you not buy the wood from my friend? And they said, no. And I said, well, where did the Honduran come from? And they said, car park. I said, there's Honduran in the car park? So we jump in the van, we drive like 3 miles. We find it. I think Yuki was scratching it off, and that gold, that was shining through. And I said, what? And we pulled the tarp off, and there's these planks, like 12 inches wide, 8 inches deep. They're all different lengths, 6, 8, 10 feet long. I just thought, wow, big pile of it. And I said to the guys, like, how long's it been here? And they had a conversation in Japanese, and they said, maybe 45 years, 50 years. I said, okay. I said, well, this isn't cut. Where's the stuff we made Jack's guitar from? I said, oh, at the factory. And they said, there's more in the factory. So we jump in the van, go back to the factory, and there was 800 sets sticked that had been air drying for like, I don't know, decades. So off we went making guitars with all this lovely wood, and that I feel as though he left us as like this secret gift.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that became the legend of these guitars, and I think that's part of what really made that series really successful. I mean, even if, no matter what, there's a mystique and a legend to that. Like you said, it was like the gift that was left for you. That makes those special. Now we fast forward to 25. We're starting to run out.
Starting to run out.
Yeah.
In fact, we're just about out.
So you're like, oh no, right?
Yeah. So I went, sourcing Honduran mahogany, and there's little bits of old growth left. And, old growth trees are when they're trees before trees were planted. They're naturally dispersed around the world for millennia. Right? And we, as guitar people, we put so much value on that term old growth, don't we?
Yeah.
And I get it, but like it doesn't necessarily mean all old growth trees are producing wood that is not, run by stewards or in plantations or even in randomly growing in a forest in Central America that maybe were planted after the original trees. So we tested 4 different suppliers, and we landed on this supplier, who's a guy called Bill Hibden. And Bill Hibden is in St. Louis, which is great because that ties into us. And Bill has been in the hardwood game and the Tonewoods game for, I think, 60 years. Him and his missus still live downtown in a mill, sort of old building. They've got the oldest working elevator in St. Louis.
Really?
Like this
Did not know
wooden
that.
thing. And they live in this apartment, and the whole apartment's made from Tonewoods. It's like mahogany floors, Central American sort of furniture. Even a pool table is made from something.
That's awesome.
And Bill is in that mill. And in my experience, I don't know about other companies, but the further you get from the mill, the less quality wood you can get your hands on, because once it starts getting kind of portioned out, or there's several middlemen, people are pulling the best stuff out, and they've got friends, they've got buyers waiting for all that stuff.
Sure.
But if you're there, of which Bill has been there for decades, then you can get what I experience, great quality wood.
Hey, you're watching right now. I hope you're enjoying this video. Guess what? There's a good chance that you have not liked, subscribed, or hit that bell, and I'm kind of disappointed in you. It really isn't that important. I wish you would. If you do that, it'll help the channel. It really does make that big a difference. So please do hit those buttons. It makes all the world a difference. So we know that this is coming to an end. We're running out. And you've been getting the calls. I've been getting the calls, the emails, the various different ones. Yeah, poor George is here. He's getting lots of them. It's like, what are we going to do? When's the last one? When is that going to be? And I talked to you at the NAMM show, and we said, it's going to be this year, pretty much. This is going to be the end of those the legendary stuff.
Yeah.
So your mission was to get something as good or better.
Correct. And again, like we talked at lunch, it's, we've built samples, and of course we A and B samples, and there's a handmade element to Yairi.
Sure.
And although they're very close, some things are especially to discerning ear, have slight differences. And the guitars had slight differences. However, definitely for my ears, 2 of the new models from the 2 of the original stuff that we just pulled for inventory were as good, if not better. But then you could pull another 6 and compare another 6 of the new stuff. You'd have to do a really wide study to say.
Sure.
But to be honest, well, I gave you that.
Yes.
And what did you say?
Well, I said this one's probably, we played a bunch of the FYM60s. It's one of my favorite guitars. You guys know it. I've said it, one of my favorite OMs out there right now. This, to me, this particular one is my favorite I've played yet. For what I like. This is fantastic. I tried to already convince you that you need to just leave it with me, in fact, already, but we'll talk later. We'll talk. But it's fantastic. And it's not just about, like you said, tonal properties are important, but it's also about the quality of the overall wood too. And this stuff looks amazing.
It's amazing. And this one here is absolutely perfect. And so to me, there's no difference in quality, but this hasn't got the story.
Yes.
And if the story is important, then I understand that. It's a romance. It's what Mr. Yairi bought. In fact, I think
It's your fault. You realize that.
it's my fault.
You've already made the story. Like today, even if I had not heard this, I would have wanted one of those guitars too, just because.
But you know, I think he even didn't buy the wood. I think he swapped it for something. You know, like 50 years ago, there's loads of mahogany kicking around.
that's
Or you don't know it's going to go missing. I don't know, it gets so rare.
I can tell you this: in my beginning of guitar world, which I'm 47 for you guys who are out there, and I started in my early teens. Mahogany wasn't all that important. We didn't care about for probably the first 20 years of my playing run. Nobody cared about mahogany is going to be around forever.
Yeah.
There was nobody arguing that we were going to start seeing a shortage of mahogany. That's happened. We got a shortage, and to see Honduran certain species of mahogany that are now ones and types of cuts, and we saw the changes. Even Martin gave up on not putting ears on their peg heads because to save mahogany. You're saving mahogany. It's now a precious commodity. So you're right. When he got that, that's just mahogany.
Yeah, and it's some of it was when we cut up those planks. Some of it was perfect, and some of it wasn't. And where these, we actually can choose which ones we want to a certain extent.
To a certain extent.
So,
I'm with you.
So it's so from an aesthetic, I like flat sawn. I like to see that
Quarter
grain
sawn,
come-
yeah.
Well, we have stuff which is more grainy. It's got lines coming through, and it's like it's a bit. Some people like that. It's more interesting, I guess. Or I like the very uniform kind of grain on Honduran. So we will continue, and they will still be the instruments they've always have been. And if the story's important, hopefully you're on.
Grab one up.
Yeah, but if it's a tone, the instrument itself, there's no change. We wouldn't risk going to market with something we weren't completely 100% behind. So.
Especially like you said, because there was such a legendary status. You had two choices: either get it up to quality or shut it down.
Exactly right.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you had.
Yeah.
And I would tell you again from playing this guitar, I don't think you should shut it down. This is a fantastic guitar right here.
Absolutely.
So.
And it's these will be starting to come in through in September, and I don't know exactly the numbers we've got of the old stuff compared to back orders. But obviously, our dealers will know, and I guess there's another maybe 200 and something that are arriving until the end of August, mid-September.
And that's throughout the whole 60 series. That's going to be DYMs, FYMs,
Correct.
PYMs.
Correct.
And that's usually the 60s and the 66s, correct?
Correct.
Those are the two series that you would see those in.
So we were actually thinking about changing certainly the Addy tops to 62s because a 2 has become for Adirondack. So these don't fit the rest.
It would make sense to me. I will tell you that much. I'm one of those guys.
So then people will know.
I still haven't officially figured out the entire numbering system of.
So it's these that throw it, because when I came out with these, I didn't think I'd expand Yairi the way we have. But a 0 is Sitka, and a 6 is mahogany. So the first number is the backs and sides. The second number is the top. So now in the nomenclature, this should be a 62. Oh, this is still a 66.
This should be a 62.
62, yeah.
So did we just break something right here? Like, is this news to everybody out there? Is this official?
I think we will do that.
Okay.
It's like I said to George, gosh, but like this, the 60 or the DYM60 has almost become like a little brand name. But to be honest, they're still what people want from a high level Addy Honduran instrument. So yeah, I think we'll do that.
I like it. I would make more sense of that.
Yeah.
So that will now give you the option. Will you be making a 60 and Sitka as well, or are you going to stick to?
We
just
may
doing
do
the
it.
Addy?
We're looking at what to expand Yairi generally. So we'll have a few, probably 4 to 6 new models coming out in January. We will. We've had lots of emails. I did make myself a DYM66, which I've fallen in love with, and that will certainly be coming in January as well. And that thing is like, Anyway,
It'd be cool.
it'd be cool.
Yeah, I've been, you guys have kind of won me over. Those who follow the channel know, it was not my mission to seek out. My gateway was the new Laureate series. I told you that. Loved what you did there. That really opened me up to giving Yairi a shot, and we've done extremely well in here. All the guitars have just come in great. I've been really happy to be able to work with you guys. It's been really cool. I think, I can't wait to see the new models. We're going to be able to talk about some of that stuff before the release.
One.
Can we?
Yeah.
All right, we may spec one. I got some ideas.
I'm surprised.
I got some ideas.
But man,
All right.
I think what you guys have done with your content for the acoustic world, and being the quality of players you are as well, was kind of...
I don't know, did you hear what I was fussing around? I made more mistakes than I made write notes on that first beginning, but whatever. If you want to go with that.
You are the real deal, you know that.
It is so much fun though to be able to work with you guys as manufacturers, because we get to riff off of each other. We get to talk. What are we seeing? What are you guys seeing? And then we get to talk about this project here and recognizing that you guys do have a chance to go on and continue this. This is not the end of the line for the 60 series. And I for one think that I applaud you for taking the extra effort to not do that, because like we said, you had two choices. It was either shut this down or figure out a way to do it as good or better.
Well, we started bringing in samples of Honduran 3 years ago, and until we worked with Bill, when Bill's wood, we made samples using his wood, it was like, okay, this is almost seamless. Great guitars, as good, doesn't have the romantic story, but Bill's story is good as well, actually. If you ever met Bill, I mean, he's got some tales of being in South America in the wood business. He could write a book.
I'd like to hear some of those. I'd like to get to know him. I know of him. I don't know him personally, but it's not that far away. Maybe next time we go up to St. Louis, we all go hang out.
St. Louis,
There you go. That sounds like a plan. We'll definitely do that. And we just got to create a romantic story even crazier than the original one.
Yeah. Well, we can, and a romantic story about the model you're going to spec out.
Ooh, I love.
Which could be something to do with taco and hot sauce.
Oh my God, we're going to call it the taco guitar. The fish and chips and tacos. I've got this already. I've already figured it out. It's going to be fantastic. Anyway, I am so glad you made the trip down here to talk about these. Again, if this fell off a truck and landed in my office, I wouldn't be too upset about that. So
we can make things happen.
What a great guitar. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging with us. Thank you, Chris, for coming down.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for moving Alvarez TV to Springfield, Missouri, the new headquarters of Alvarez
Fly
TV.
in every Friday.
I love it. We can do it. We'll do a live every week with Chris. I love it. In fact, you know what? First time we got to hang out, we were at the NAMM show, and we have a video. In fact, if you'd like to see it, we can see all the new releases of NAMM show 2025 with Chris. There's a link right here in the middle. It's right here, whether you see it or not. No, it's up higher than that. It's somewhere in here.
Okay,
yeah. You click on that, and you'll get to see more of Chris. And again, thank you all for watching this video. We will see you on the next one.